All right.
We're
back.
Back with episode 14 of the Fill in the Blank podcast.
Life after film school.
Been a little hiatus here, but a little too weak. But you got some What's This to fill in the time.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that.
Back to our regularly scheduled programming. Today, topic of the day today is tips for film students.
That's right. And then, Greg, you're going to be doing a movie review, right?
Yeah, I saw Monsters U right before I left. So,
okay, cool.
Maybe a week or two late, but still relevant.
Yeah.
And then some news to finish us off.
Right. Just in case you forgot while we were gone, I'm Austin.
And I'm Greg. We don't always do intros. So
we don't.
That's fine.
It's perfectly fine.
So there may be a little more background noise this week because it's too hot.
It is too hot.
It's too hot in this room to have all the windows shut.
Yeah.
There's a fan running. It's too bad.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. Our comfort will mean your entertainment.
That's right.
Yeah.
What's been going on with you for 2 weeks?
Oh, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, mostly I've just been rehearsing.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
For the bird.
For the bird that's coming. That's right.
You're gonna give us the bird.
I'm gonna give everybody the bird if they want to pay for it. But I did have this experience where I took my dog to the veterinarian. She needed her rabies update.
Yes.
It was like her final set of shots.
Okay.
And we needed to renew her license. Whatever.
Yeah.
The point is we're taking her to the vet. And I've noticed something, and I guess there are some medical doctors who do this.
Okay.
But I've noticed it more frequently in veterinarians and dentists.
Dentists?
Yes. Now, I don't know. Maybe chiropractors do this too, but I doubt it.
Okay. They're not real doctors. You heard it here first.
That's right, folks. That just happened. But they have a way of asking you questions that makes you instantly both ashamed and angry in the same moment.
Oh, yeah. When they are like, well, how come this is wrong with your dog?
Right. And you're like, well, that's why I'm here.
I didn't do it.
Right. I love my dog. I do my best to take it. Okay, it's different between the two of them, but it accomplishes the same goal. With veterinarians, they talk to the dog in a baby voice and ask the dog a question.
Oh, my veterinarian does not speak to the dog.
Oh, this veterinarian was like, how come you've been biting your feet? Do you have allergies? Doing things like that.
And you're not there.
Right.
You're like,
the most
passive-aggressive
way of dealing with me. Like, you could have just asked me the question and been like, oh, hey, it looks like your dog has, an allergy here or something like that. Maybe you can get some Benadryl or whatever to help the dog out. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I brought the dog here
because of its problem that it was
because I was concerned about this and I want you to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
So don't be all passive aggressive. The dog doesn't know.
Yeah.
And I know you're talking to me, you son of a bitch. Just ask me.
True. It's like, well, I'm convinced that dentists just for their pleasure alone are like, because they know the answer. They're like, so, of course you've been flossing. They always say it like that.
Yeah,
They know that nobody's been flossing.
Right, and that's the thing about dentists. They do talk straight to you, but they ask you questions that there's no possible answer to.
There's no way the answer, or they just know that in order for you to answer this question,
you're going to have to lie to me.
You're going to have to
But I do have to believe that a certain part of dentists, there's a certain sadistic streak in dentists. That's why you decide to work inside people's mouths for a profession and cause them immense amounts of pain.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
They like it.
They
love asking about flossing.
They love asking about flossing. They're like, so have you been flossing? It's like, well, you saw in there.
You know.
You looked in there.
You started working before you asked this question. Because if I said yes, then what would you say?
Right.
Like if I sincerely was like, yeah, every day, then you'd be like,
well, then I guess
you are horrible at it.
Right. How come your gums bled so much? Like, or they'll ask you, like, I had a cavity once.
Yeah.
And it was causing me pain. So I went to the dentist and I'm like, I'm in pain. I need you to help.
Yeah.
And he asked me this question. How come you let it get this bad?
Because I love this.
Because I enjoy having large amounts of pain.
I love it like this.
That make me cry constantly.
I have to stop everything I'm doing and come to the dentist.
Right.
Because I can't.
I wanted this. This is what I intended. Thank you. This was my intended goal.
Yeah, you planned for that.
Yeah. Well, how come you just didn't come in sooner? Because I don't have, to be quite honest, at the time I didn't have insurance. As soon as I had insurance, I went in and got it taken care of.
Yeah.
But if you don't have insurance, I don't have the money for that.
Yeah.
And you just act, and dentists have no appreciation for not having money, I guess.
No, that's just a doctor thing. See, the doctor doesn't want to be a part of the paying.
Yeah.
They're just like, well, you do this, this, and that. And they don't want to deal with the part whether or not your insurance is covering it or
right.
That. No,
and I'm like, well, I can't afford that.
But that's fine. I mean, I understand. I'm kind of, in some ways, okay with that. In like, okay, you should give me the diagnosis and the treatment.
Right. I do understand
what
that.
What is the best. And
but
then
what I don't need is the guilt.
Yeah.
Well, how come you didn't come get this taken care of? Because I couldn't pay for it. And he was like that's no excuse.
As though you gotta.
Right, you got to. Well, it doesn't matter if you don't have the money. You've got to come in and get it taken care of.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but your office won't let that happen. Do you understand that?
Right. I would not have been here.
I would, right. You and I would not be talking now if I hadn't already established that I could pay for this.
Yes, that's true.
That's the prerequisite for me coming in here.
No, see, they act like they don't know anything about that.
Yeah. Just like that same visit, I was going to have the tooth pulled.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, well, now this is going to cost you like $3,000. Mm-hmm. Because, and he's looking at x-rays. He's looking at all the information. It's going to cost you like $3,000. Because now you have to have an implant put in. And that's just the way it's going to have to be.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, damn. Like,
yeah.
I guess it would have been cheaper to come in before, but I still couldn't have afforded it before. And now I can't afford this now. So I don't know what I'm going to do. And he's just like, don't know what to tell you. Sent me home, came back. Oral surgeon looked at my x-rays and went, oh, no, you don't need an implant. There's an overlap in your teeth. We'll just pull this out. It'll cost you like $50. And I was like, oh. Well, he said it was, he's like, well, it'll be fine.
He's like, don't worry about it.
And I was like, well, why didn't this, like, I've been at home, like, worrying sick about this.
Yeah.
Getting my friends and family to try to help me figure out a payment plan for this and stuff. She was like, oh, no. Like, the way that this, not a big deal at all. Uh-huh. And I was like, he could have told me that. He had all that information sitting right in front of him, too.
He didn't want to.
He did not want to.
He wanted to put an implant in.
He wanted more money. So when it comes to getting the money, they want that part. Yeah. When it comes to whether or not you can, that's not their concern.
No, they don't know.
So, either way, if there's any dentists or veterinarians listening,
you want the guilt off.
Right. And I'm not saying there aren't veterinarians who don't do this. I'm not saying that every veterinarian's like this.
Yeah.
But if you are one of those veterinarians, don't baby talk to the dog.
Yeah, I've never seen
when you have a point to make to me.
Yeah.
Just tell me. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to get angry.
Dog doesn't want to be there regardless.
Right.
You baby talking to it is not going to make it feel better.
No.
It wants off of that stainless steel table.
And I do understand, because I'm sure it has to do with like a bedside manner thing where people don't like to be criticized about how they take care of their dogs or their teeth or whatever. But you know what? Let's err on the side of that we're all big boys and girls, and we can handle it.
We can't. As a society, we've decided not to err on that side.
Right. I think you're right.
We've decided in general that no one's feelings can ever be hurt.
Right.
If there's a chance of hurting feelings, we have to go the opposite way entirely.
Entirely. And I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of that.
Mm-hmm.
I just, take the risk. You may hurt my feelings, but I'm not going to do anything about it.
Although, you know who doesn't? That people at airports.
No, they go out of their way to hurt your feelings.
I know, and I love it.
Yeah.
It was just traveling, so.
Oh, really? Oh, that's right. You did. What was your experience there?
Oh, the trip was great, but yes, I just consistently just found stupid people all around me.
Well, that's...
And I was like, God, America?
Come on,
America. The two good ones at the airport, actually yesterday. I'm just waiting, like... We got to the airport a full 2.5 hours ahead of our flight, and it's just a domestic flight.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be
plenty.
I should have been able to knock an hour off that and still been fine.
Oh, sure.
So
now, were you carrying on or checking?
Both.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so we had to check. So we get in line to check.
Just so you know, you never say both because everybody carries on something.
That's true.
You just say checking.
You're right.
Okay.
But I wasn't checking everything.
Well,
Anyways, so we get in the line to check the baggages, and and it's not that long of a line, and we're like, oh, this is fine. Like, we'll have plenty of time to go get something to eat and walk around and look at the stupid little stores at the airport.
Yeah.
And this lady's like, who's on the flight to L.A. or Chicago? And we're like, oh, we are, but we're like, it can't be the flight that we're on. Like, there must be an earlier flight because we're on the flight that's 3 hours from now. And she's like, oh, yeah, you guys need to go cut ahead. And we're like, uh-oh. So
why?
She thought the security line was long, and the security line looked like it was 1.5 miles long, but it moved really fast. It took 20 minutes. I was like,
okay.
Well, I've been in an 1.5 hour line at LAX. So that's
sure, right.
But so I get up to do, and it's one of those ones where you put in your info, and then the luggage tag prints, and a guy just walks over and puts it on your bag.
Right.
It's kind of self-service.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'm printing out my tag, and there's a guy next to me who has, like, a suitcase, and he keeps putting it on the weighing thing and taking it off, and he can't get his tag, and, like, I overhear him trying to deal with one of the employees for a second, and they're like, just hold on a second, sir, like, let me give these tags to these people. So then
Airline employees do have a special voice for that.
Right.
Just hold on a second,
So then I get my stuff, and I'm standing there with my bag waiting for the guy to walk over and put the tag on it. And this guy, meanwhile, pushes in front of me, because you know how they have those little, like, scales? He pushes in front of me to the scale, and the same guy who just told him to hold on a second comes over, pulls out my tag, looks around, and goes, "Who's Greg?" And I go, "That's me." And then he looks at that guy, like, with huge amounts of disdain, like, "Oh, my God.
I told you to hold on a second,
I told you to hold on a second." And he's like, and he looks at the guy, and he looks at me, and he goes, just come down here. And, like, so I walk down and give him the suitcase. So then I'm kind of one of those people. It's like, I want to make sure my suitcase gets on. So I kind of walk back just to see it go through on the conveyor belt.
You got to, right?
I got to, right? So as I go back, so then now he now has this man's bag, and he's like, okay, let me put it on the conveyor belt. He puts his tag on it, and the guy's like, that's my luggage tag. And there's, one of those paper like airline luggage tags on the ground, and the man, like, looks, and he's like, there's a tag on your bag, and he's like, that's my tag. So the airline guy bends over, picks up the luggage tag, and looks at it, and the look on his face is one of the best things I've ever seen. And he just turns and looks at the man and goes, "This is blank." And the man goes, "That's mine." And he's like, "You have one on your bag." And he's like, "That's mine." So he just hands him the blank one. Like, I don't know why you want
Take
this.
it.
There's an entire stack of like 70 or 80 of them on the desk next to you, but you can have this blank one, sir. Now can I put your bag on the conveyor belt? I was like, what is wrong with these people? And then the other one was,
oh my goodness.
in both, I was in Chicago.
See, I would have just like,
no.
Yes, it is, sir.
Yeah, here you go.
Just,
do you want me to put it on your bag? That's nothing but United Airlines written on it, but okay. And then in both these cities, they had these cool...
what goes on in people's heads?
I don't know. They had these great little bikes that you can rent, and you pay like $7 to get for 24 hours worth of renting the bikes.
Okay.
And there's like 100 or so bike stations throughout the city.
Sure.
You have a half an hour. Every time you pull out a bike, you have a half an hour before it needs to be plugged into any other station.
Okay.
At which point you could immediately pull another bike out.
Right.
So it's great. $7. You can basically have a bike to ride all the time. And in Washington, there's stations like every 2 blocks.
Right.
So there's no way you can drive 5 stations in a half an hour.
Right.
So we had those because we were riding around to like the Jefferson Memorial.
Sure.
That
Sounds like a great system.
Too far to walk.
Yeah.
So every single time I went to go get a bike, the person in front of me was just a complete idiot. Like, because what you do is once you've done it to start with, when you want to get a new bike, you put in the credit card that you used so that it not just anyone can do it, and it prints you out a code, and you put the code in and pull your bike.
Right.
Like, there's these people in front of me this one time who he walks up to it and sticks his card in. And I'm like, no, you have to push the button that says I need a bike.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then he like sticks his card in and takes it out like 4 times. Like, why isn't this working? And like, there's 8 people like standing in line behind him, and we're all just like, oh my God.
Just push the button.
And then so I just go, oh, you have to select get a bike. And he's like, oh, okay. Pushes get a bike, sticks his card in, takes it out. And I'm like, wait for the screen to tell you. Like, just use your eyes and read. Like, why can't you just read and follow the instructions? Because you push the button, it says insert your card and remove, and it tells you when to remove it. Mm-hmm. Then it says okay, and then you have to click okay a couple screens.
Right.
Like he just kept sticking his card in. I was like, and then of course he stuck it in, and when it said read it and pulled it out too fast, and then it malfunctioned, and he had to start over. And he was like, "This thing's so dumb." I'm like, "No, sir.
No, sir. You're so dumb.
You're so dumb, sir." The only dumb thing here is you, because that's a machine.
Yeah, it's reading. That's what it comes down to. I've noticed
just
a lot of times.
They won't read.
I know. I've noticed that a lot. I have a lot of experience.
All the lines at the airport, all that stuff. People are just like, I don't know what to do. And it's like, there's a sign right there that tells you exactly what to do. Just read it.
No, and I have that experience from working at Disneyland for a long time. There are signs at Disneyland that will tell you anything you need to know. Like, it's the most well-signed place in the world. And all the time, people will come up to you and be like, excuse me, where's the bathroom? While they're standing...
There's a sign above your head.
Above your head that says bathroom right here.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, read. Use your eyeballs. I don't know...
And then I don't understand, like, because you can tell who's a seasoned traveler and who's not.
Yeah.
you come across these people who look like they travel all the time. They're like alone, like they have their briefcase.
Slip-on shoes.
They can't seem to get through security. I'm like, just get ready. Like, right. You've been standing in line. You know when it's going to be your turn.
Yes.
That you need to take your shoes off, put them in the thing, put your laptop out of its bag. And then, like, how many people have gone through, like, I watched 9,000 people have to go through twice because they didn't take their laptop out of their bag, even though they've passed about 15 signs that say, remove your laptop. And
well, they all feel like, well, not me.
Yeah, and the TSA person standing there, like, staring at them was, like, told every single person in front of them, remove your laptop from its bag that they were standing there for.
Right. Well, I just always wonder, because you see things happen right in front of you.
Yeah.
How is it that the person in front of you, who also had a laptop, and they told him, please, sir, pull your laptop out, did not register with you that they're going to say the exact same thing to you?
Yeah.
Like, why are you different?
Yeah. Why are you different? And why aren't you concerned about speeding this whole process up for everyone, including yourself?
Well, no, that would imply some sort of awareness and common courtesy.
That's the problem. There's no awareness of what's going on around you, so you haven't read the signs, and you're just like, I got to get through here. And it's like, yeah, so do we all. So hurry up and figure it out, because...
Right. We all have some place to go.
Yeah.
Or people who wear their iPods all the way up to...
because I don't use mass transit because I live in Orange County.
Right.
or LA,
yeah,
where
LA, right.
there is mass transit, but nobody uses
right,
it.
Exactly.
But, like, so you have to use it when you're in, like, D.C. or Chicago.
Sure, sure.
And it's great mass transit.
Right.
And we were taking our suitcases, we were riding the train to the airport, and, like... You know, you have to put the card in and the little gate opens and you go through. We're all like stressing out because, I've got to get my bags through the thing and it's taking me, and there's people here. Like,
sure.
I freak out because I'm like, I don't want to hold all these people up.
Right.
They're looking at me like, this idiot can't get through here.
Right.
And why can't you get your card to read? And it's like, I don't do this every day. I'm sorry. And I'm like all nervous and like, oh my God, go ahead of me. Go ahead. Like, I'll wait till no one's here and then I'll go through.
Right.
And like these people are just like, I can't make it. Like, they don't even know that there's anyone else around them. And I just can't.
I don't know. I feel like that there's something about being in public that...
God dang it.
Right. We're not anymore aware of how to be in public.
No. Everyone's only in their own little zone and no one else around matters.
All the time. My biggest pet peeve working at Disneyland was people stopping in the middle of walkways. All the time you'd have like, what the heck is this traffic jam? And for no reason.
To get to the front, and it's just someone bent over.
Well, or what it is a family stopped and they have a map unfolded like this.
Yes.
And they're all just looking at the map, deciding what they want to... I'm like, step out of the way.
Yeah. I had someone do that at a walking runway at the airport. Like, 2 feet off the runway, they stopped to help their little kid get out of their stroller. And I'm like, pull over 2 feet to the right.
Right. And then we can all keep going.
We can all not have a problem.
Exactly.
I hate you so much, all of you.
Right. You want to hear my absolute best travel story? It's not very long. I was on a plane going to Florida. And sitting, it was my wife and I, but there was 3 seats, so we had a stranger next to me, over to my right. Young woman fell asleep on the airplane flight. Across the aisle, big fat guy, really big fat guy. Either way, we're all flying through the air at 1,000 miles an hour or whatever, and big fat guy across the aisle, the woman next to him decides she needs to go to the bathroom.
Okay,
that happens.
Yeah,
big fat guy gets up. Okay, now let me just set the scene for you here. Nice little young woman sitting next to me, head asleep.
She's gonna get hit by her stomach.
Head facing the aisle, mouth open.
Oh no!
Fat guy stands up, backs into our aisle.
Oh.
This is how the young woman wakes up. Ass cheeks on both sides of her face, just surrounded by ass cheeks. And I hear, and I kid you not, muffled screams. It sounded like muffled screams because her mouth is open inside this guy's ass. Like, it was the worst thing I'd ever seen. My wife and I, of course, are hilariously like, this is the funniest thing we've ever seen. She was so mad at us.
Good.
She totally deserved to be. I am not at all.
You could have kept it to yourself until later.
No, he could not. I've never seen somebody wake up and scream into somebody else's ass.
That's my other note. That's pretty funny. That's true. One more note to you people on airplanes.
But we could have woken her up. We could have woken her up and been like, watch out, here comes a giant ass.
That's right. It's coming.
It's coming. I saw the whole thing develop.
He doesn't have any nerves back there.
No.
He's not going to
It was about 4 feet away from him, so he didn't know what was...
And one more note for people on planes. There's a sign that tells you when the bathroom's occupied. So there's no reason to have a line of 8 people. Stay in your seat. Yep. Like, I can't stand that either. Like, 4 people go in. There's a line. I see people look like, oh, there's a line of 8 people. Yeah, let me go get in that. No, because now you have to stand next to people who are in their seats.
Right, and
you're leaning on their seats and their armpits.
And you're at nut to face level. Like, it's terrible.
It's so just stay in your seat until there's no one in there.
Right, they're not going anywhere.
The toilets are going to be there.
Right. We're all trapped in this little tube. Like, and even if everybody on the plane has to go, there's a limited number of people. You'll get your chance.
You'll get your turn. Just hang on. Maybe you shouldn't have held it that long. Right. If I could be a veterinarian or a dentist. Why'd you let it get this bad?
Right. Right. Exactly.
Why'd you hold it this long?
I do everything I can to make sure I never have to go to the bathroom on an airplane.
Oh, I go constantly.
Yeah, but you go like an old man, so you don't have a choice.
Well, it's because they keep offering me drinks, but I'm doing nothing, so my body's like, well, let's get rid of this.
Right.
And I'm not going to not take the drinks.
Right. No, well, of course. I always take the drinks. It's just, I just don't like those. Yeah. And it comes from a childhood fear of being sucked out the hole and being plummeting to the earth. That's what I was always afraid was going to happen as a little kid.
Yeah. I also want some consistency. I know we should stop talking, but I keep thinking of these things.
Okay, let's
go.
I
want some consistency. Like, we flew United.
Yeah.
On the way there, everyone got their own personal TV. You could watch DirecTV movies. Right. Had a selection of 5 movies. Mm-hmm. On the way back, flip down screens. You got to watch The Croods and a bunch of crappy NBC shows. I was like, I thought I was going to have my own screen on the way back.
Right. Well, yeah, I do often wonder that. Why is...
Like, if you're going to make this change, then make it across your whole fleet. I understand if it takes a couple weeks or something to get it on all your I don't know.
That's because you were flying a different kind of plane.
I pay the same price. That's my point.
Yes, that is true.
So I should have a consistent experience.
Right. Well, they'll charge you depending on what you want to bring, but I think that you should get to pay depending on the amenities you get.
Let me just throw this out there. The good plane, Boeing. The bad plane, Airbus.
Well, yeah.
I don't like Airbuses.
No, that's just kind of how it goes, as far as I can tell.
Yeah. All right. So,
Before we get to our topic, do we have any news?
Yeah, we've got all sorts of things, as usual.
Okay.
The contest, as of yet, has been running for, I want to say...
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yep.
There are 0 people.
Good job, folks.
Good job. Boy, people love free stuff, huh?
Yeah.
They really
I guess you don't want to buy whatever you want from Amazon.com.
I guess not. That's my only conclusion, is nobody ever wants free stuff. Ever.
Yeah.
I guess I'm in the minority because I always want free stuff.
Okay, hold on. Let's be fair.
Okay.
There's 2 options here.
Okay.
Either...
no one listens to the podcast,
okay,
so
then there's 3
knows.
options. I was going to ignore that option. There's 3 options. Either A, no one's listening to us right now.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad, and I'm choosing not to believe
possible.
that. It is possible. Number 2, they don't like free stuff. They're like, you know what? I'm doing so well
work for stuff.
that I'm going to let somebody else have that.
Well. Yeah.
The third option is you're just an asshole.
Yeah. One of those 3.
One of those 3. You take your pick. And if you're taking your pick, then we know it's not option number 1.
Yeah.
So either you were doing so well that you don't need free stuff, or you're an asshole. Let me guess which one it is.
Wow. Now they're really not going to be any entries. It's a good one there. Now no one's going to enter. But I'm
trying to excite.
Listen, we've gotten. We're on a quest for 40 likes.
Yeah.
At this moment,
mm-hmm.
We're 4 away.
We're 4 away.
We've achieved 36
likes.
4
people shouldn't be that hard.
You know what that tells me?
What?
36 people know about this contest.
That's right.
0 of you have entered. So if you're a person who's like, yeah, I don't know, I just didn't want to try and think for 2 seconds after I listened to the whole podcast that had a title, because maybe I wouldn't come up with the best one that they picked. If you submit it now, it will be the best one.
You have a 100% chance of winning.
At this moment, it's the only one.
Yeah. What it means is that July 15th is the deadline.
Yeah.
If, of course, we have no entries by July 15th, then it'll be July 22nd.
Or maybe the contest is over, and you just have to wait for it to come up again.
Yeah. And there will be future contests.
Yeah.
But
there's more chances to win stuff. And I thought this was easy. All they had to do was listen to us, and describe a movie, and just write it on a title.
You would think that would be easy
I
enough.
thought this was very simple. I thought it required not a lot of work. 2-3 words typed into Facebook.
Right.
So I thought this would be easy.
Well, I just want to ask you this question.
Okay.
Not you. Oh. You, the listener. I want to ask you this question. Why do you want children to die? Because by not entering this...
I was like... I'm not going to say anything.
Hold on. By not entering this contest, you are not getting the Amazon gift card. By not getting the Amazon gift card, you are not then spending the money on Amazon, which is then, of course, not stimulating our economy, which it desperately needs, which is, of course, one more person is not getting a job at Amazon, which presumably had a child who will now go hungry.
Or manufacturing whatever product.
Exactly, who will now go hungry, and that child will now die. So if you don't enter the contest, you're killing children.
That's it. I think he's right. And, all right, so that's the contest. It was a little darker than I thought when we started to talk about how no one had entered. Got real dark there, but let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to the light. 36 likes, 4 more likes. Tell your friends. Everybody tell your friends.
Good try.
We only need 4 of you.
Yay!
Yay, 4 more people.
Happy time.
Also, iTunes, subscribe, review us. Remember, there's only 10 episodes on iTunes to get the rest.
But you can always see all of our episodes if you're interested on our website and at YouTube. And our website is what, Greg?
fillintheblankfilms.com.
All right. And you can always find us on YouTube at youtube.com/FITB Films.
Of course, every episode will always be there. iTunes subscribers. If you subscribe and you listen regularly, not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Stitcher, right?
Stitcher's also an option.
Okay.
You can listen from your phone or anything without downloading. It just streams right to it.
And you're going to have you're driving somewhere, right? You're driving somewhere.
I got to have something.
I got to have something.
I don't want to hear these commercials on the radio all the time.
And we've heard Get Lucky too much.
Yeah.
So go ahead and put on our podcast.
You were up all night
getting
Get Lucky stuck in your head.
That's right. So now it's time to clear it with some refreshing thoughts.
That's right. And, of course, we've got movie reviews being posted up there, things like that. So there's all sorts of reasons to participate.
We're giving you...
don't know why you're not.
A whole...
We give you $10 of free stuff.
Right. We're giving you tons of content.
Yeah.
We're sounding a little PBS here, but come on, people.
That's right. Yeah, it's a pledge break. Let's have a topic.
All right. We got your topic today. Topic today to tell you. All right.
All right. Our topic
you missed
today.
That? Did you miss it? Did you miss that?
I did. I really did. I didn't realize I missed it till I just heard it.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's
right. Topic. Let's talk about it.
It's tips. We got some tips for students of the film school.
Little tips for you film school students. Things to think about that it's not, any one of these, you can graduate and be fine without it, but I guarantee you a better, richer experience with these tips, and they are valuable.
Yeah.
So kind of what we're looking at here, I'll go over some smaller ones. There's a few that I really want to highlight, but a few that we can just touch on. First of all, things, know where things are. Now, that sounds very, very general. Yeah. But I'm talking about things like EIDC. EIDC is a place where you go to get the permit to shoot someplace in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
If you say you want to shoot at... I know the reason I had to go there. We wanted to shoot at the subway station right across from the Pantages Theater.
Okay.
So you have to go to EIDC, and when you go there, there's like a big board, and it shows what films are shooting where. And of course, there's ways. There's little things you can learn, how to get a student discount, how to not, like different rates for different places.
Yeah.
Different kind of. I don't want to use the word amenities, but different. If you need the police to block off all the streets, you can get that, and all the way down to just you're allowed to shoot there.
Yeah.
This way, you're not breaking the law, which is something that you also will probably do in film school.
Yes.
By just shooting somewhere and not telling anyone.
Well, you have to. Unfortunately, they've made it so you have to.
Yes. But the correct way to do it is to get the permit. But that also means you need to have insurance. Learn about how to get insurance. It's all these little things that you may learn in film school, but you can also graduate film school without ever having done this. Mm-hmm. And then afterwards, you're like, I don't know what that means. And it's just better if you learn.
Just figure it out.
And it really can be something as simple as knowing where the building is.
Yeah, and it's true because depending on what role you take on films and stuff, you may never show up there, but
right. Unless you're a producer, a lot of times you don't have to go do this stuff.
But you should tag along.
Right.
If you find that happening, even if you're just being a key grip or something,
that's how I did it.
Tag along with the producer and go check it out.
Go check it out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
At the very least, now you know where the building is. From there on, in the future, if you need to do it, you can go down there. But at least you know what we're talking about and where it is. Consult with your fellow experts would be my next tip. What I mean by this is, we talked in the past about how, generally speaking, everybody starts to get an emphasis as you go through film school. Like someone really
cinematographer people,
exactly,
the art production design people,
right? And film is definitely a collaborative art. So you want to be able to rely on those people who are experts. But one thing I never felt like I did enough was to really pick the brain of people who are the experts in that area to learn the little tricks. I mean, you can't be an expert in everything.
No.
But you can learn quite a bit about everything.
Yeah.
And then have your expertise.
Well, and that knowledge is useful anyways in whatever your expertise is, so that you know what the left arm is doing.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And if you are, you know, in a position to direct your own film where you're going to have significant crew, that's the perfect opportunity in my mind.
Absolutely.
If maybe you haven't done a whole lot of the camera work on, like, you know, other than just I just shot this real quick, like done the real camera work or something.
Right.
To pick the brain of your cinematographer and to go over and talk to your sound guys and figure out exactly how they're recording all this stuff if you haven't yet done that.
Well, it's just the little tricks and tips that they've learned by doing it a lot.
Yeah.
Learn some of those little things that they do that you don't necessarily learn from the class.
And I found that crewing stuff, a lot of times, like, it's fun to be the AD on someone else's. If you're just helping someone out, it's fun to be the AD or the AC. But sometimes I just wanted to be the grip, or I just wanted to be the boom up, because low stress, number one, I just got to show up. I don't need to plan. I don't need to have 7 meetings with you while I've got all my other stuff going on at school. I just roll into the set, do my thing, watch, observe. I can chat with people in between takes. Like, that's the best. That's another great spot to do it.
It's a great one to learn.
Be a grip and go be a grip. Who cares?
Right. Well, you
get to mess with the equipment.
That brings me to the one that you brought up, which is work a lot, shoot a lot.
Yeah.
You got to, because that's how you learn stuff.
Yeah, just keep making shorts, even if you're just shooting on a little handy cam and it doesn't look great. It's
something.
The production value is something that's a commodity. It's not a requirement. You can make a good movie with bad production value.
Yes.
And you get the production value when you can get it, but just keep shooting stuff and keep experimenting with angles and shots and
because you gain knowledge regardless of how good the final product is.
You can make something awful and then be like, well,
this is why
this was bad.
Right, and that also affords you yet again more opportunity to pick the brain of your fellow people, because you're all just out there to have some fun and shoot some stuff. Kind of like what you just said in terms of even the awful projects can teach you something. Watch bad movies. When you're in film school, there's a huge emphasis on watching good things to learn what they're doing right. Watch, Kubrick this, or watch Spielberg that, or whatever, so that you can learn what they're doing, all the tips, the tricks, the shots that make them great films.
Right.
I argue that is fantastic. I also argue that watch a ton of stuff that is horrible.
Yeah.
And talk about, why is that horrible?
Yeah.
And is there anything that I can do that, like, I guarantee you one day you will find a use for something you saw in a bad movie.
Yeah.
You'll be like, remember that terrible movie where that happened? Let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
It won't be terrible in this.
Yeah.
There are things to be learned. Either you'll find things that should work but didn't because it was a terrible movie, or you'll be able to see that doesn't work because that. That's where you learn the preciousness of that commodity production value.
Yeah.
A lot of times. When you watch bad movies, you're
That's
like,
true.
The reason this movie's bad is because of the production value.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot to be gained from learning what not to do as well as what to do.
Yeah.
So if you're going to sit around being a pretentious, I only watch good movies, or I'm not going to go see Transformers because it's Michael Bay and it's terrible. Just go see it.
Yeah.
Would you shut up?
There's going to be a cool shot because it's Michael Bay.
Exactly. There's something to be learned from every movie, even Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Yeah.
Like, there's something to be learned, and you never know when you're going to be in a position to make a really good bad movie.
Yeah. Well, and
look at Mars Attacks, Tim Burton.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people don't like Mars Attacks.
Some people just think it's a bad movie.
Right. And I would argue that movie is a consciously bad movie.
Yeah.
And because it's emulating a ton of bad movies from the 50s.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like if you just think Mars Attacks is a bad movie, you're missing the joke.
Yeah, exactly. Which maybe you can fault him for that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and argue that it's like, should have won all kinds of awards, but there was definitely a joke being made with that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And there are other movies of that ilk
Yeah, it's just a matter of, and we've said this is one of our things that we say all the time, which is just watch movies regardless.
Watch everything.
Just see it because it's a movie.
Right.
That's the reason to see it. It's a movie.
It's a movie. It's moving pictures.
Yeah.
And you claimed that this was your favorite thing in the world, which is why you decided to take a risk.
And do this as a job.
Right.
It's a risk. It's a big risk.
Right. If you're spending $100,000 on a college education on film, you're taking a risk,
It's
my
a
friends.
huge risk, guys. And it's, I'm already feeling like, oh man, I was gone for, almost 2 weeks. I didn't get to see World War Z.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see the Lone Ranger.
Right.
I'm already behind.
I'm behind.
How am I going to catch up? I'm already, and that's a factor that's stressing me.
I know. It really is to me, too.
That's because I just like movies, and I just want to see them all.
Right. And I start to worry about, because if I get backed up, something's going to get left out.
Something's going to get left out. Like, I never saw Cloud Atlas. Got left out.
Right. There you go.
I wanted to.
Right.
He's supposed to let me borrow it.
I will bring reminder. Not so subtle reminder. But yes, I'll bring that, and I need to bring you back, E.T.
Yeah.
So further along the lines, we were talking about the experts and stuff like that. I'd say my personal number one tip to young filmmakers out there would be try acting.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds like a silly, that's the reason I shoot the movies.
So I don't have to, and that's...
You know what? Shut up.
They actually require that at my film school.
Did they?
You take an acting for non-actors specifically, and
they did not require that at my school.
I hated it.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I'm totally okay with that because it was an experience, and you do, when you're having a hard time communicating with your actor on set, you now know what they feel.
Well, and at the very least, like you said, it will teach you the burden that the actor is feeling.
Yeah, I don't think it'll teach you, because a lot of people I would say that I've worked with or been around they're not very good at giving direction. They don't know how to do it. They think that there's a certain way to do it, and they're wrong because it really kind of depends on the actors. You kind of have to feel them out and be like, how are they going to take this? Can I just do the line how I want it done, or is that going to offend them?
Right.
Do they need to hear emotions? What are the types of words that I need to use? It just depends on your actors.
It totally does.
And how blunt can you be? Can you tell them it was awful because of this, or do you have to, have a nice soft pillow landing for when they ask you how the take was?
Right.
So it's totally dependent on that, and there's not one way to do it.
There really isn't. It comes down to people skills.
Yeah, but being able to be in the position of having to receive that, of someone telling you in whatever way they decide to tell you, that's not bad, or that is bad.
Right.
You now know how it feels, no matter what, even if even if you need it padded, you know what they're saying.
Yeah.
They're going to make you do it again because they didn't like what you did.
Exactly. And especially if it makes you uncomfortable to be in front of the camera, let that teach you some sensitivity to the person who is willing to do that for you.
Because they don't have that inhibition, obviously.
They don't necessarily have the inhibition, but they're still being vulnerable.
They're still being vulnerable.
The reation you don't like it is because you have to be vulnerable.
That's exactly it, yeah.
So when they're up there being vulnerable for you, don't just cut them down.
Yeah.
Or at least have some sympathy for, man, they are up there being... And they actually have the balls to get up there and do that.
Yeah.
Which I don't. I hate that.
Yeah.
Now, that is, of course, not to let blowhard actors off the...
No, that's not...
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying it so that you have an appreciation for the terror, the burden, and quite frankly, the skill it takes to get up there and do that job.
Yeah, especially when you're talking about it's not going to be tough in an acting class for someone who doesn't want to act to get up there and do comedy, or to get up there. It's when they ask you to do an emotional scene. That's completely uncomfortable to somebody like me. I don't want to do that.
But to do actual comedy, I guarantee you, if you're not an actor,
it's bad.
Bad.
I'm just assuming it's bad.
Right, but it's not as... I understand. You're not as vulnerable as you are when you're up there having, "Mama, you don't understand." And you're doing the crying.
Yeah.
That's why you are afraid to get in front of the camera in the first place. Is because you don't want people to look at you.
Yeah.
And and although yes, it seems that actors tend to be very vainglorious in that I want you to look at me. I'm wonderful, aren't I wonderful? Yeah, there is some of that.
Yeah,
there is.
They're more okay with it than you are.
Right. They have that need more than you do.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily make it easy. Now, I'm not one of these people who's trying to sit up here and tell you that acting is such a hard profession. No, I'm not. No. I'm not saying... I mean, there are much harder jobs in acting than standing up and pretending to be someone else.
Yeah.
Okay? There are more physically demanding.
There's a lot less fun jobs.
And more being a soldier is much more mentally demanding, you know?
Yeah.
But that also does not mean that it's easy to do.
It doesn't mean that it's nothing. Yeah.
Right. So, and as an actor, someone who's been an actor and had been directed, you can tell when someone's had the experience, whether it was what they wanted to do or not, of having been on your side simply through the sympathy factor of, all right, how do I deal with you?
Yeah.
Versus people who are just like, well, this is how I deal with you. I'm sorry if you don't like that. Blah, blah,
yeah,
blah.
and it's like, no.
You're like, well, that's not great.
Yeah.
I don't want to. It tends. I'll be honest with you. It tends to translate to how they deal with the entire crew.
Well, right. That's the other thing.
Because you're viewing it purely from your own point of view.
Like, why am I not getting what I want?
And quite frankly, that is the one thing that everybody could learn from acting is all about looking at the world from another person's point of view.
Yeah.
And that's what it can teach you. Period.
Yeah.
If you take it just a little bit seriously, it can teach you how to look at the world from another person's point of view. And that will translate to how you deal with everybody on the crew, not just the actors.
Yeah.
So what started out, I think, as it sounded like a simple little, you should try acting.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. And I would challenge anybody, regardless of your profession, to try an acting class just to gain that perspective of, wow, that's different than what I thought it was. I thought it was just getting up in here and acting like a fool. Even when it is acting like a fool.
For somebody who wants to direct, it's key.
It's key.
That was something that they made you do at my school, which I was surprised about when I saw, like, oh, you have to take this class? That's kind of weird. And I don't think that's a norm for most
It's not.
schools.
It wasn't at mine.
But I certainly appreciated that experience.
In retrospect, you can appreciate why.
And I feel like it made me able to communicate better as well.
I can tell you, as someone who acted for you from high school all the way through college, your ability to direct as an actor's director was noticeably different afterwards.
Well, in fairness, I had to act in all the things in high school, too.
Yes. You did. And that's why you have a little bit. But I'm just saying, even after, it was especially, we did one project where we were playing the president and his.
Oh, yeah.
And you got to work out on that project. And it definitely changed the way you directed.
Yeah.
Because you had a whole new appreciation for how effing hard it is to actually pretend to be someone else.
Yeah.
And it's because, and I know this sounds so pretentious, but you're not just pretending to be someone else.
Yeah.
You need to believe you're somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother level that people cannot truly appreciate till you've tried it.
Yeah. Whether you fail or not.
You may fail. You realize, oh my God, that's. Yeah. I thought it was. I'm John Jones.
There's at least a moment that you'll have when you're thinking that, whether or not anybody else thinks that. Right. You think it, and that's what matters for this.
Yes.
The point that we're making.
Exactly. So, and the level of focus and concentration.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, I think that could apply across the board.
Yeah.
So my last few tips here just would be, like, take a photography class.
Yeah.
Which is what cinematography class is, kind of. But a photography class really makes you focus on the still frame.
Yeah.
And
that's worthwhile.
I think, a lot of times they still make you work in film because it's making prints.
We did. We did stills even in cinematography class.
So did we. But a whole class just devoted to.
That's completely about framing and stuff.
Yeah.
And lighting. And what's nice about that is the ability for you to, because there are some people I notice that come into film school and what they show you on screen, you're like, why would I want to look at this?
Right.
And there's a certain amount that you have to do it for you to be able to just, this is my subject. Okay, here's how I frame it. Done.
Right.
Like, you don't have to, yes, you're going to craft your cool special shots that you've planned, but for like
you just need some coverage.
For other things, just like get a shot, hey, quick, even if you're not shooting narrative stuff, if you're just out there shooting documentary stuff, get a shot of that quick. Well, now you can, because you've done it enough, you can just flip over and this is the frame that's correct.
Right.
Shoot it.
Yeah.
You don't. It doesn't even enter your mind.
And that's why I'm saying a photography class can just help cement those ideas.
Yeah.
Because then all you do is spend time framing and lighting.
Yeah.
So it's a supplement to cinematography.
Yeah.
Take it, do it, and then of course my last thing here is just, and this is, I feel, another one of the more important ones. Develop a broad base of knowledge, and even if it's just trivial stuff, you should be good at Jeopardy, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The reason I say that, and so, I'm sure that there's a number of you out there, because you're film lovers, knowing popular culture, knowing the history of popular culture is something that has already appealed to you.
Yeah.
So you may not need this tip, but there are others of you out there who are antisocial and are using film as a way to express yourself.
That's true.
And I'm telling you, learn about society, learn about popular culture, develop a broad base of knowledge, be good at Jeopardy, because ultimately it will help you craft something that a broad audience will like. And that is what you're trying to do. I don't care what you think you're doing, what your ideas are.
You can't make money at it unless it's a broad audience.
You want to make a living, you want to pay off your college debt, learn how to please an audience.
Yeah.
And that's what the broad base of knowledge will do.
Yeah, and similar to that also, I would say, because we've talked before about how film school develops into cliques. Yeah. And beyond like specializations, because obviously you need everybody different specialization. There's just cliques of groups of people that maybe there's a diverse group of what people like to do in that group.
Oh, there usually is,
cliques. And the more you can transcend those cliques, I think the better. Because if you work with 7 people and you all just work on each other's films, that's great. You'll still get the experience with the gear.
But it is a little bit. What's the word I'm looking for?
It's like incestuous.
Incestuous. That's the word I was looking for. Yes, because your ideas, you tend to develop similar ways of thinking.
And even if those are your good friends, that's fine. If you can just get crew, or just every
or go work on other
people's. If you get in a
people's
class with nobody else in it, talk to get on some more of the people that maybe are just acquaintance to you. Try and get on their stuff and help out on theirs, because
just to broaden your
see
horizons.
A different way of doing things and stuff.
Exactly.
You'll see how their clique does things.
Because ultimately, and this is why I guess ultimately what the ultimate tip here is for students, be it the AIDC thing, the fellow experts, the acting, the bad movies, what we're trying to explain to you here is your job as a storyteller is to learn as much about every other person in the world as you can. I mean, it's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you got to tell all different kinds of stories with all different kinds of characters and all different kinds of, subplots and all different kinds of audiences. Yeah. What you're doing is more than just learning the techniques of film. You're crafting yourself into a repository of human knowledge. I know that sounds really grand.
It sounds super grandiose.
It does sound super grandiose, but you've decided to be a storyteller.
Yeah.
And a good storyteller can adapt to his audience and can tell all different kinds of stories and make you feel everything. As a director, you are an actor.
Yeah.
Because your camera is the character that you're playing.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that sounds...
No, that's true.
Kind of pretentious, but that's your job.
Somebody said that before you, don't worry.
There's nothing we're saying here that somebody hasn't already said before. But I do think that's ultimately, I guess, when I look back at all of our points, that's what we're trying to say. Learn as much about everybody as you can. Try to be open-minded.
Yeah.
Because it can only benefit you.
Yeah. All right, let's have a movie report. This is Movie Review. See?
A plus. Yeah.
Movie review, Monsters University.
Oh, yes.
I saw this just before leaving on my little trip.
I want to see this.
I quite enjoyed it.
I've been meaning to see this. I've been meaning to see a lot of things.
Yeah.
Been busy.
But you didn't.
I didn't. I did not.
So
what'd you think of it?
I liked it quite a bit. Okay. I wasn't a hugest fan of Monsters, Inc. I just liked it. I was just like, this movie was good.
You talk about the original?
The original, yes.
Yeah, that's how I felt about the original too. That was great. I haven't seen it since.
Yeah.
There's other. I love Pixar.
I have not seen it since yet.
Yeah.
But I did go see this, and I liked almost everything about it. I had also actually previously read an article about the way that Pixar had done a brand new way of lighting their movies for this, where it's like they wrote a whole program that actually just replicates lighting it. Nice. Instead of doing these digital lights. I mean, it's still digital, obviously.
Obviously, right.
That you can light it like you would light a film. Set.
That's pretty awesome.
And the light falls. It's mostly the technical achievement was that the light has to fall off at the same amount.
The particle effects and stuff like that.
Distances have to be realized and the weather patterns. So, anyways, let's get into it. So, characters. As I would probably give every Pixar movie, this gets an A+.
Well, yeah, that's what they excel at. That really
is. That's their thing. I mean...
That's why they're the best.
That's what makes the movies so enjoyable. Yeah. And you're back with Billy Crystal and John Goodman.
Yeah. And Charlie Day, who I hear is fantastic.
He's the best part, I thought.
Oh, really?
He was my favorite character in the movie.
He plays the big hairy U,
He plays like the U-shaped monster that's all hairy. He was cracking me up.
Okay.
Yeah, all the characters very memorable. Lots of memorable lines and funny things.
That's kind of what we come to expect.
It just makes you feel good. Like the people just make you feel good, and there's always just a perfect arc for the characters. You know, we see the opening with young young Mike Wazowski.
Mike Wazowski. Yeah.
Wazowski, and he's just like the cutest little one-eyed green thing ever. You're like, yeah, and he just wants to be a scarer, and you get the whole arc, and he finally becomes a scarer through a series of events. Just
that's what Pixar does.
And they
so
grow
well.
as people. Like it's an adult character arc.
Right, but that the kids will enjoy every bit.
Yeah.
But and that's what I appreciate.
That's the best part.
They do those characters and
they're just so cleanly presented. That's the thing. There's no
with
muddling
a wide.
of it.
Just to get it back to our to relate it back to our main topic. I guarantee you, these people are people with a broad base of knowledge because they're able to find a joke or a reference that everybody finds something that they like in there.
Yeah. So A+ on character. Story, I went A-. And that's just because it wasn't like Up the story. It was like an A+ for me. That blew my mind. I was like, whoa, I didn't even know you could do this.
Right.
Like this is it's a convention. It fits into a conventional, like there's elements of a college, like it's comedy, and the storyline's pretty straightforward. So I don't think there was any like craziness or any like really innovation in the story.
And it wasn't maybe as nuanced.
It's just very well told as per the course. So I went A- on it because there's plenty of movies that I saw that did not have as good of as strong of a story as this.
Sure.
And I would say also in this category, for our audience who are people who are in college or have gone to film school, like you'll
relate to it.
There's a ton of stuff for you people who are older who are like, I don't want to go see this cartoon, but there's a ton of college jokes that will go right over little kids' heads, but will be hilarious to you.
Sure.
Like just about the cliques and the different types of people and the experience of dorms or whatever.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of that. Technically.
Well, see, I will say, just let me say this one quick thing. Pixar to me always proves my point that just because something's a cartoon does not necessarily mean it's for kids.
That's right. They're the ones who really prove that point for me, because there's a lot of cartoons that I'm like, that was for kids.
That was for kids, right?
It's not bad.
But cartoons don't have to be for kids.
No. Technically A+. It's Pixar.
Right.
And like I just said, the lighting thing, like they just look, the frames are fantastic. Every single frame is gorgeous.
It's just amazing to look at.
Yeah. So there's not much to say there. It's technically, they're the best.
Right.
Music, I drop it to a C, guys.
Whoa.
Didn't really, it was playing the Monsters, Inc. theme. Mm-hmm. Okay, everybody, that's fine. Which is also the problem, because then I get to the end and here comes Randy Newman singing a song.
Right. I know you're not a big...
This is a completely personally biased score on music. I don't like Randy Newman.
I know you don't.
Or any of the songs that he writes. So there you have it.
Okay.
I'm not going to give it lower than a C, because it works perfectly fine for the movie. You never really moments where the music stands out. But also no moments where you're like, that's awful, until the credits roll.
But you don't even like You Got a Friend in Me from Toy Story?
That's the worst of all. That's the worst offender.
Oh, I like that one.
You got a friend in me. Why does he got to sing it like that?
He doesn't have a choice.
If somebody else sang it, it might be a well-written song. I just can't tell because of his annoying voice.
Well, what about in Toy Story 2, Sarah McLachlan sings that song.
I don't remember that one that well.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know if I've seen Toy Story 2 all the way through.
Let's not talk about this.
All right, I like 3.
Okay. 3 is great.
So my overall is an A. This movie's an A movie.
Yeah.
Everyone should go see it. And a lot of people did, according to the box office. But if you liked Monsters, Inc., you'll like this. And even if you're like me, who saw Monsters, Inc. once when it was in theaters in whenever that was. When was that?
I think it was 2001.
2001, too?
I think it was 2001.
That's the first and last time I saw that movie. I saw this movie. There wasn't like anything that I was like, what happened in that movie? I don't remember.
Right, no.
You see what's the bad guy's name from the first movie?
Right, I don't remember his name.
Snaky guy.
Steve Buscemi's character.
Steve Buscemi, yeah. And you're like, oh, Steve Buscemi's in this. And they do a little thing at the beginning where they, when miniature baby Mike Wazowski takes a tour of Monsters, Inc. And it's 4 minutes, and that's their entire backstory for people who haven't seen Monsters, Inc. This is the world we live in. This is how it works.
Right.
You open these doors and you go scare kids, and we steal their energy.
Right. So,
that's all you need, and they give it to you. They give it to you just like they did with Toy Story 3. You didn't have to have seen any other.
Right.
They do such a good job of making everyone universal.
As just a final thought for this movie review, it is in fact a prequel.
Yes.
To the original Monsters, Inc.
Yes.
If you were showing your children Monsters, Inc., would you start with Monsters University and then show them Monsters, Inc., or would you show it the way it was released? Because, I mean...
No, I think... that's tough.
Do you see what I'm saying? Because if it's a prequel...
It's a prequel that doesn't... Because usually prequels, you're like, okay, that was cool. This one just didn't... It just felt like another movie.
Okay.
And yes, it was, in fact, a prequel, but that never really factors into your mind when you're watching it. And until the very end, where it does just set you up perfectly. But I don't know. It's like Star Wars. It's like, I don't know.
Well, see, Star Wars I wouldn't, just because I need them to love the original ones before I even deal with it.
That's true.
But with Monsters, Inc., I don't have the strong feelings about the old ones, so perhaps you would show this story in order. I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you certainly could. I kind of feel like the first one would lose some of itself if you showed this one first, because you would almost be rehashing some stuff. Whereas
okay, but
it didn't feel like it was rehashed here, but because this set it up, it would feel like, well, I already know what they're going to go do.
I see.
Like if you saw by watching Monsters Inc., you're like, oh my god, look at this hilarious world where these monsters
right
behind the scenes.
That's a big part of that movie's charm.
Yeah, and as a prequel, this broadens the world. You didn't really see much of the monster world.
Right.
This completely broadens that, and so I think that. No, I think now that I'm talking through it, I think I would show them the original first.
You would show the order it was released?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So that is Monsters
Go
University.
see it, it sounds like. I know I'm really rip-roaring to go see it.
Rip-roaring. You're rip-roaring. All right, let's go to the news. The week of July 15th, 2013.
This is the news. Welcome to the news.
This is the news. All right. You know what? I did my little news collection.
Yeah.
A whole lot of Disney in the news.
I want to hear about this.
I was looking. I searched because I was like, I don't want this to all be Disney.
Right.
It's not.
Okay.
But there's a lot of Disney in here.
There's just they're doing stuff now.
Yeah. Before I get to Disney, let's have a Star Wars update.
Let's do it.
Episode 7 Star Wars update.
Okay.
Latest thing that was released is someone got a hold of the, which probably wasn't that hard to get a hold of, the casting, some casting liners.
Oh, okay.
For who they're looking for episode 7.
Oh, sure.
Like they're little short descriptions of like, here's the type of people we want to come audition. So I'll just read them to you real quick.
Hold on, let me get my pen.
Yes, I know. There's some in here you could be.
Okay.
I'll get to when I get to it. I'll let you know.
Okay.
You cannot play the late teen female, independent, good sense of humor fit.
How dare you doubt my acting, sir?
Young 20-something male, witty and smart, fit but not traditionally good looking.
That's me.
That could be you, because you can play young.
Yeah.
You could also play the late 20-something male, fit, handsome, and confident.
That's either one.
So, what are you doing here?
I don't know. I will see you all later.
Also looking for a 70-something male with strong opinions and a tough demeanor.
That could be you.
Doesn't need to be particular. Excuse me. I could not play 70-something. I find that offensive, sir.
Okay. This is makeup.
Well, yeah, maybe. You could do that with makeup then.
I know, but I could play the young teenage girl with makeup.
A second young female, also late teens, tough, smart, and fit. 40-something male, fit, military type. 30-something male, intellectual, probably doesn't need to be fit.
Okay.
Those are some people. Obviously, I don't know if those are leading roles. Maybe some of those were the solo children, if in fact they are in this movie. We have no idea.
We have
no idea, which I love.
That's fine. I don't care. No idea,
there's just some good... I want to see some people playing these roles.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're not in line right now.
I don't know. Where do I go to get in line?
That's a good question. You'll have to ask your agent that you don't have.
Okay.
One more Star Wars tidbit, which is going to segue into our Disney. Because Disney announced, and I think maybe we talked about this, that they were going to make a Star Wars land in Orlando.
Right.
Now, the Orlando Business Journal reported that there's, because they're going to do a Cars Land over there too, since they just opened a Cars Land out here at the original Disneyland. He says this guy who works for Disney had said, no, Star Wars Land is nothing. The Cars Land is nothing compared to the level that we're making Star Wars Land.
Oh my goodness!
Like he's talking about that the Star Wars Land
is an amusement park unto itself.
Yeah, it's going to be bigger than any other things they've ever built over there. And I'm like, I'm so excited.
That is very.
I'm sure it'll open smaller, but they'll build the plan for the whole land and open a small portion of it and then add on. I'm sure is what they're going to do.
Well, you know that if they had just a whole theme park that was just devoted to Star Wars,
they may do that. They may do that.
That would make them
that's
a lot
what they
of
do
money.
in Florida. You know, they have like...
Well, they have so much space out there.
Yeah. And then they were also talking about potentially, because Star Wars Land will be on the opposite side of the park of Fantasmic, of having a Star Wars Fantasmics type show.
Oh,
that could run at night as well.
I could see that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I have to believe that a little bit. They were building that Cars Land, then they got the license for Star Wars, and everybody who was building Cars Land went...
I know. But... yeah, so they're going to obviously... it sounds like they're going to build it where the current Star... like, they have, like, the little Ewok village kind of thing, where the Endor Express used to be.
Yep. No, I know exactly.
So I think they're going to build it from there, and I don't know if they'll tear down...
well, okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing, because they have... it. That's in the Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
Right now, they have kind of a Tatooine thing, kind of a Endor thing. Yeah. It's all kind of cramped and right around Star Tours. You walk around the corner, they have New York Street, and it leads up to, like, a big stunt show arena. Yeah. Well, if they knocked down New York Street and built it all the way up to that stunt show arena, I'm sure is where they're talking about putting
the show that they're talking about. Okay. Yeah, so...
that's a lot of space.
Yeah, so however, so nothing is confirmed yet, obviously. It's all just sources. Don't expect Disney to unveil all of this at once, obviously. But it'll be a gradual rollout, but if this guy's to believe, it's going to dwarf any other previous park expansion.
That's great.
Which is awesome.
That is great.
Okay.
Let's get. I'm sure it's going to become the centerpiece for Hollywood Pictures Backlot.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah. Well, they may just rebrand that entirely. Well, they might just keep that and be like, now you left Hollywood Pictures Backlot and you entered Tatooine. Or,
right.
You know,
yeah. Well, because the whole point of Hollywood Pictures Backlot is to be about the movies, so it makes sense that over half that park is devoted to.
Okay, so moving on to Star Wars, out of Star Wars, Disney's going to make a live action version of The Jungle Book.
Okay, like a movie or a TV show?
Movie.
They did that once before.
I think did Disney do that one?
Yeah.
Okay, it was bad.
Yeah.
They're doing it again.
Okay.
And in addition to, because they had to, when I read this also, because you know how they did Tim Burton for Disney did the Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
What was that called?
Alice in Wonderland.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh, because they're also adapting that again, I think.
Okay.
No, because that was supposed to be like a sequel to Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, but it was called Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, okay. Well, they're actually going to adapt
the original,
the proper Alice in Wonderland and Cinderella.
Oh.
So what I'm curious about, it almost feels as though they're adapting their cartoons live action. And I'm thinking that may be what the Jungle Book is as well.
Huh.
Maybe they're going to make let's do a live action version of the cartoon, which at first I'm like, why do we need that? And then I thought about it and I was like, it's kind of smart because they have their Disney princesses and they have their things. It just kind of renews them.
Yeah, I guess
Especially
so.
if in my mind, I would prefer it if you're going to make Cinderella live action, base it off the cartoon Cinderella.
Yeah, although I'm a big fan of, like, when I was a little kid, every so often they would re-release an old Disney film in theaters.
They don't do that so much anymore because of Blu-rays and DVDs.
Right.
But
I would still...
before you could own things at home.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I just wish that they would do that instead. But I don't know. I'm not opposed to it. I just need to wait and see. If they're gonna Twilight this stuff, then I'm against it.
That's not good.
But if they're gonna make it nice, then
yeah.
The one that I will throw a fit and burn down the whole park is if they try to remake like Mary Poppins or something.
No, that would be bad. I think they're sticking with the cartoons here.
Okay.
Making those live action, which is less offensive.
Well, then I vote Dumbo.
Offensive. Yeah, let's
live action Dumbo.
Live action Dumbo. Just that would be massive amounts of elephant abuse.
No, it wouldn't have to be abuse.
That's what happens in that movie.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying, yes.
No, I mean, it would be for the film, but...
Right, no, I understand that. And the crows need to stay the same.
Yeah. Yes, the crows. Well, yeah, you can't change the crows.
It may be like a $2 theater thing, though.
Yeah. They're making a sequel to Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I'm kind of for this.
But it's with Jim Carrey.
It's with Jim Carrey and
yeah.
Well, I can't
Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels. Yeah, it's not they made a horrible prequel, I believe. With other actors.
We're just gonna pretend like that didn't happen.
I think they are too. I'm kind of for this.
I know, I am too. I don't want to be.
Well, I feel like I haven't seen. Every time I see Jim Carrey, I want to feel like I felt when I saw Ace Ventura, which I know everyone's probably like, you think that movie's funny? Yeah, I do.
Oh, that reminds me of
because
I Have a Hate and Is Bad.
Oh, okay. Well, Ace Ventura for me, it could be a hate and is bad because that movie just came out at the right time. Like I was the right age for that movie.
Yeah.
So I can totally understand how you're like that movie's bad, and I'm like you're probably right, but I love it because of when it came out, how old I was.
Right.
And like I think it's hilarious.
Right.
And I want to see that again, and so I feel like maybe Jim Carrey.
Well, see, in Dumb
back.
and Dumber, I liked that even more.
Yeah.
At the time, like it might have just been the perfect timing thing.
Yeah.
Where I was right at the right age for that kind of humor.
Yeah.
But I thought Dumb and Dumber was hilarious.
I know.
Hating is bad. Just teasing this for next week.
Yeah.
I want to do it.
Okay.
The Cable Guy.
Oh yeah.
Doing it.
That movie's great.
That movie's fantastic.
Okay, yeah. But yes, like those Jim Carrey movies, I liked all those, and then he stopped doing them and started doing these other things, and because he wanted to be taken seriously.
And he did some good work seriously when he did. Andy.
Yeah.
What's his face?
Yeah. Man on the Moon.
Man on the Moon. Yeah.
No, he's done some good movies, and he's fine. But sneeze button.
Sneeze button.
But I just haven't felt a whole lot of.
No, he hasn't really been up to
lately. So I'm hoping that maybe this will revitalize.
I would hope so. I would think so.
I'm kind of ashamed to admit, but I'm kind of into that.
I want to be a kid again.
Also, have you heard of the book series called like the Outlander series?
Outlander.
By Diana Galbadon. I think I said her name right.
Yes.
My sister's,
I think my mom read them.
Yeah, my mom and my sister are huge fans of these.
Right. It's like
a time travel.
Yeah. Like back to like Scotland or something like that.
Yeah, that's where it starts, and it goes.
It goes all over the
scenes. Anyways, Ronald Moore, who's the developer of Battlestar Galactica, is developing that as a series for Starz. So.
Oh, okay.
That sounds promising as well.
Sure.
I'm interested in anything he gets behind after.
Yeah. After
Star Trek Next Generation and Battlestar, like he's got a good track record.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little tidbit. And then final piece of news here. Discovery Channel is doing scripted shows.
Really?
There's one that's coming out this year called Klondike, which is based on a book by Charlotte Gray. So that's about like the gold rush.
Oh, okay.
But it's like scripted. It's like the History, History Channel did like Vikings. And
right.
Pat Beals and McCoy's. So Discovery's doing that too, with appropriately themed things like
That's
Klondike.
so funny to me.
They're good though. I mean, the History Channel ones were great.
No, I'm totally appreciating that. What this is what strikes me as funny.
Oh, these are channels that
you have channels where I want reality TV.
Yeah,
i.e. documentaries, and now I'm getting scripted shows. And all the channels that I think should be doing scripted shows are doing reality TV.
That's true.
This is weird.
The cable channels that always relied on reality have been...
Right. And good reality, I'm talking about nature programs, history programs.
Science
not
things.
Will You Eat a Bug programs.
Right. They've been eclipsed by all the reality, so now they're turning to scripted in order to get some audience back. Is what it sounds like, yeah. Anyways, so Ridley Scott's company is producing this series. That's coming out. Then the one they just announced that Scott's company is also producing is like, I guess they like what they see in Klondike because they've already ordered another series.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be about William Wallace and Robert the Bruce.
Oh.
Produced by Ridley Scott. So I'm sure it'll kind of be like the truth because there's a lot of historical inaccuracies in Braveheart.
Oh, sure,
Even though I love that movie.
I love that movie too, but it's not accurate.
So I'm sure this will be closer to accurate.
Right.
But I was like, that's a cool subject. Like, it's been long enough.
Oh, for sure,
It's been 20 years since Braveheart came out.
Oh, yeah,
We can come back to this.
And especially if we're going to show what really happened.
Yeah.
You get the actual bridge in the Battle of Bannockburn Bridge.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I could go for some of that.
Yeah.
I was a fan then. I'm a fan now. I'll watch that.
Mm-hmm. I saw it in his face.
Yeah. And I took it from him. Yeah.
So that is the news for this week.
Well, I think that was some good news. I'm excited by some of that stuff. I'm disappointed by some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Ran the whole range of emotions.
Yeah. In addition to being the news, that is the podcast.
Oh, my God. Oh, wait, I forgot.
Oh, yes.
And that's the way it is.
Yes.
That's the way I'm supposed to end the news, like Walter Cronkite.
And also, you should go see this.
He's coming! He's coming! Conrad Birdie is coming!
That's right. It's Bye Bye Birdie. The Tony Award-winning musical is coming to the Orange County area July 19th through August 11th at the Huntington Beach Playhouse. It's fun, family fare featuring classics such as How Lovely to Be a Woman, Spanish Rose, and Put on a Happy Face. So, if you're in the mood for some laughter, some song, and some dance, put on your happy face and come on down to the Huntington Beach Playhouse. Contact hbplayhouse.com or call 714-375-0696 and tell them that Albert Peterson sent you. You might get a discount. Your life will be rosy when you come see our patriotic, healthy, normal American show, Bye Bye Birdie, at the Huntington Beach Playhouse. And remember, tell them Albert Peterson sent you.
And so
I'm going to be in that.
So remember, us on Facebook.
I might be like Laura Linney, but I'm going to be in it.
Like us on Facebook.
Meaning that I'm supposed to be funny, but it's going to be dramatic and kind of awkward.
Would you let me tell them to like us on Facebook?
Yeah.
Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/FITB Podcast. Watch the enhanced version on YouTube. GPL Films is my Twitter handle. Austin's doesn't matter.
I'm just kidding. I'm going to be really good in Bye Bye Birdie. You should all come see it.
Okay. And our website, fillintheblankfilms.com. So go there. We will be back again next week with episode 15.
And that topic will be film aesthetics. Yes. We're going to do another in our series of
good point.
Classroom topics.
Yes. Topics important. All right. See you next time.
Later.